Well, he's a fun-loving kind of guy, puts smiles on faces of baseball fans of all ages. We're talking about, yes, Mr. Met there. So the question is, who, no matter how bad the team is, who would harm poor Mr. Met? Well, turns out the Secret Service, that's who. A.J. Mass, who's a former Mr. Met, says that he was threatened by the Secret Service agents back in '97 when former President Bill Clinton was at Shea Stadium. Mass says they told him, quote, "We have snipers all around the stadium just in case something were to happen." Agent said, Mass went on to write in an excerpt of his book, "It's not in here. Yes, it's hot in here," and it's published in SI. He said, "Like I said, do whatever it is you normally do, Mr. Met. Nobody will bother you. But approach the president and we will go for the kill shot. Are we clear?" I just am having trouble imagining the conversation, looking at this guy with a head the size of a globe and saying, "One false move, pal, I'll put a bullet you know where."
I have two immediate thoughts. One, how would they know where the kill shot is? His head is 6 feet across. I mean, there's so much space in there, you think you've got it, and you're actually in broad daylight. But can you imagine at the stadium, if anything happened like that in front of all this? I don't really see that. I'm sure that somebody was just giving Mr. Met a hard time. That Secret Service guy might have been a Yankee fan. Yeah. I mean, it's possible.
Well, that's what I was about to say. As a Yankee fan, I think it's perfectly appropriate that he give him
I'm sure there's a joke there with Bill Clinton. I'm not going to go there. But anyway, I've been around one Secret Service agent who has said when there's presidents involved, especially stars, I'm not counting Mr. Met as one of them, tend to think the rules don't apply to them. Yeah. And the amount of conversations that happen beforehand where they're like, "You don't understand. We will not take you out. We'll tackle you in front of everybody. If you decide to put your arm around the president or whatever else, they do not play."
Richard, a quick story. I know we're short on time. This same president at the Futures Diner in Queens, I had promised my bosses a one-on-one with Bill Clinton. There was just one problem. The White House didn't know about it. And so he's walking along the line, and the agent, he's standing right next to him. He says, "You better not cross this line." So when they say the kill shot, they're not joking. They're really not playing. These guys are serious as cancer. And so, of course, the president came across, and of course I stepped over the line, and you could see the agent turn bright red. And so Clinton stopped and talked to me for a minute and a half. They were about to put me in custody, the agents. And Clinton said, the president of the United States said, "Oh, leave him alone," in his southern drawl. And that was the only time that they left me alone. They had the cuffs ready to go.
You got a presidential pardon.
I got a presidential pardon, yeah.
All right, how about this one? Actor James Franco didn't have a great night at the Oscars, and apparently didn't have a great night on stage either here, blasting New York Times reviewer Ben Brantley after Mr. Brantley gave him a scathing review of his performance in Of Mice and Men on Broadway. Now, Franco said, Brantley and the New York Times have embarrassed themselves, and he went on to call Brantley a little, well, it's on the screen anyway. You can read the word yourself there. Where is that line between where you can go and where you can't go in the review and everything else in the arts?
I hadn't read the story when I first heard it. I thought it was Brantley saying that about Franco, and I was pretty clear that was going to be over the line. That's over the line. And you're certainly not going to make her, win any favors from the most influential theater critic in the country by doing that. I mean, you start doing that to film critics.
Has Brantley responded?
Not that I'm aware of. I don't know. I don't know, but that's just stupid. I mean, that's just biting the hand that feeds you. You think he's ever going to get a positive review down the road?
Well, and that's what an actor's supposed to do. Is he?
Good for him for doing it.
Really? You think so?
Yeah, really? Yeah, I really do. Because when you put your heart and soul into your product, and who is this arrogant criticism or critique, and he just blows you off in the review? It's heartbreaking. So I understand where he's coming from.
But aren't you put yourself out there? Yeah, right.
Come on, it's like being in politics. If someone insults you or slams the door in your face, spits at you. Okay, you're in the business. These are the terms it comes with. I think it's totally over the line to use language like that. A lot of them complain about reviews, and I understand that, and it's hurtful. But hey, you put yourself out there.
For me, when sometimes you see an actor, I'm not talking about the giant thespians, but somebody with all due respect like a James Franco, he's going on Broadway. That's a disincentive for me to buy the ticket to the show. I don't think they were a great actor, but I know there's professional Broadway guys that are out there doing all the things, like Stokes, right? I know that he's going to do a good job. Doesn't matter what the material is. He's a Broadway guy. And I'm not I don't go to as many, certainly, musicals as you do, right? But for me, when I see somebody taking that role, I think it's the hubris of the Hollywood kid who thinks he can do anything, and Broadway's a whole different animal.
Well, it is. And there's also a difference between dramatic.
I respect they take the chance to do it, but it doesn't mean I got to pay money to see
There's
it.
also a difference between the drama and the musical on Broadway.
Right.
And so there might be a greater opportunity for a crossover for a dramatic actor from Hollywood to do well
I
on
do
Broadway.
remember what you did say about Les Miserables with Mr. Russell Crowe.
Yes, and I have tickets to Les Mis on its revival, and if Russell Crowe joins the cast, I'm selling those tickets. I'm not going to go see it. But like Bryan Cranston from Breaking Bad and
Okay,
from
but
Malcolm in the Middle
he's
is
a
on,
great
and
actor
he's
who
getting
can do
rave
anything.
reviews
Right.
for it. Do you remember Tony Shalhoub from Monk?
Sure, and apparently he's
I saw
the
him-
front
I've
runner
seen
for a
him-
Tony now,
I've
right?
seen him on Broadway, and he's fantastic. It's hard to know who's going to cross over and who's going to be successful and who's not. Sometimes they surprise you, sometimes they don't.
All right. Well, go see Of Mice and Men. No. I will thank you all. Happy Easter. Happy Passover to all here. Guys,
Same
thank
to
you
you.
very
Same
much.
to
Have a
you.
great
Thank you.
weekend.
Thank
All
you.
right. When we come back, everyone, a sad story, but also an uplifting one where family, friends, and fans say goodbye to a really special young girl who touched hearts across the country. We'll have her story right after this.